This video is about how you kefirize or make juice kefir. It's very, very simple. So we're talking about fermentation here. So this is basically, I got some maple water. Traders just started carrying this. There's another, I know the first company, because it's in my area, started to carry it. It's like a fraction of the price for obvious reasons, because they can command that. What is maple water, by the way? It's pretty simple. This is essentially what they are getting from the maple trees, and then they will boil this down several times, and that's where they actually end up creating maple syrup from. Maple water itself is in a very good structured form. They don't really process it, and it's loaded with all sorts of nutrients. So it's really good stuff for hydration, and it has a lot better nutrient levels than coconut. And the water structure form is also better, it's superior. Trees are much more advanced than, because remember this is coming from the core of the trees versus, you know, some coconuts. And then because this naturally has some sugar in it, we see here about 5 grams. Can't really, it's not really coming through on the camera. Anyways, 5 grams. In general, I'm going to do a little experiment. So I'm going to just kind of threw that in here in my jar at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. Those things at the bottom are actually the kefir grains for making juice kefir. So if you purchase some, you have to type in juice kefir grains, not the other kind of kefir grains, which are for dairy products. So these guys also are that color, by the way, because I make juice kefir with Concord grape juice, which if you let kefirize a little too long, ferments to a point of creating more alcohol. And you can actually create some wine out of it. That's how wine is created. But anyways, before it gets to that point, though, it you know, it releases a ton of healthy different types of bacterial strains. It's a type of probiotic. So I'm actually fermenting the sugar in here. That's in here. And in general, I'm actually going to add a little bit more sugar to this. And it can be any kind of sugar. And the reason is because I just want to get a stronger ferment. But actually, what I did say I was going to experiment, I'm experimenting with lower sugar content and letting it ferment for longer, keeping it out in warmer environment for a couple days, 48 hours, and seeing if I can actually ferment well enough with lower sugar. My goal always with fermenting this kind of stuff is to have the bacteria eat up as much of the sugar as possible, so hardly pretty much anything remains, barely, maybe a gram, you know, of natural occurring sugar. And the rest is just a lot of good bacteria in it. That's my goal. And of course, the structured sort of hydrational qualities, and it just depends on obviously what you're kefirizing. But anyways, that's pretty much all there is to it. So then I'm going to just leave this out. Having one of these mason jars, I think, is kind of essential, or another large glass bottle. And then I put like a little napkin over it, and then I put this little rubber band. And then I just keep it in the corner on a counter for a while. It depends on the temperature, okay? So if it's, you know, 70 plus degrees in your kitchen or wherever, you're probably looking at like a 30-hour, 24 to 38-hour, or 30-hour to make a strong ferment. You can tell by the carbonation that fills it. You can have a couple tastes to see where it's at. If it still tastes too sweet, you can let it kefirize a little bit longer. If you're starting to detect alcohol, what you're going to do is take out the grains immediately, and then keep the rest in your refrigerator, which slows down any further culturation, and you know where it's starting to turn more of it into alcohol. So that's what you do to slow down that process. Anyways, that's it. You can start to ferment anything you want. You can blend up goji berries and then filter out the fiber of the berries. It just leaves sort of the juice, if you will, and you can ferment out of that. There's really all sorts of things you can do. Anyways, it's a great free probiotic that you can keep on transferring to new batches over and over and over again. And if you have any questions about that, shoot me a message.